Hi everyone, I'm Jose and this is On Tour Exploring in the University of Niagara, an adventure across Niagara County. On this tour, we'll visit the Niagara Falls, the beautiful waterfalls that became the first symbol to New York. Then, we'll tour some of the county's hidden gems, which only add to the allure of Niagara. So let's go on tour and explore the legend of Niagara Falls. The natural wonder of Niagara, what became New York State's original symbol. Our tour of Niagara County begins with the obvious. Niagara Falls were the first state park of the country. Welcome to the immense waterfalls of Niagara, and listen to that thunderous power of the American Falls. Niagara Falls is one of New York's biggest tourist destinations, and its popularity remains as vibrant as ever. The American Falls are a natural wonder standing at 110 feet high, being taller than iconic landmarks like the Tower of Pisa or St. Basil's Cathedral in St. Petersburg. The landmark receives over 8 million visitors a year. On the Canadian side, we see the Horseshoe Falls, the largest of the three waterfalls. We're transported around the park on a trolley to enjoy the scenery. Niagara Falls is separated into three waterfalls: the famous American Falls of New York, the Horseshoe Falls of Canada, and the smaller Bridal Veil Falls. All three are products of glacial ice melting into the Niagara River during the Ice Age. These waters flow at 20 miles per hour, making it one of the wildest rapids in the world. And looking below, we see tourists getting drenched at the Cave of the Winds. So, let's jump in to the next excursion. At the base of the Bridal Veil Falls is the Cave of the Winds, one of the top attractions to Niagara Falls. From this platform, we're able to get a closer look at the power of the falls. And as you imagined, it's full of tourists. As a popular destination, this attraction sees over 400,000 visitors a year. The view alone is worth the trip, as the waters roar among the rocks, creating a rainbow arch across the falls. I'm simply left in astonishment, not knowing where to look. The waters make the platform slippery as we ascend to the section of the heavy winds. The first tour in this cave began in 1841 and was originally named after the Greek god of wind. And the gusts experienced at this depth can feel like a tropical storm, with winds reaching up to 68 miles per hour. This is definitely a place to come prepared, as you'll get soaking wet. And as far as trying to speak, the loud volume of the falls and its winds makes it almost inaudible. As we're more concerned with keeping the poncho on. This waterfall has a vertical drop of 181 feet, which explains the heavy winds pushing me away. A sight to behold. and one of the must-see spots in all of Niagara. The Niagara Power Project, the largest producer of energy in the state of New York. The power plants use turbines to produce energy and build tunnels below the city of Niagara to help flow the river and the waterfalls. And this station is a visitor center to the power plants. New York has had a long history with creating hydroelectric power from the Niagara River. And we're greeted by a turbine where the views from high above show us just how beautiful of machinery we're dealing with. It's enough to harness and redistribute the power back to the state. And when I say power, that's 2.6 million kilowatts of clean electricity. The combined power plants of Robert Moses and Lewiston's pump generating plant use 25 turbines spun by 748,000 gallons of water. That's enough water to almost fill a football field. But the power plants offer something deeper, a look at the beautiful Niagara River below. From the Devil's Hole State Park, the trail begins high above, where we can see Canada from across the river. The Niagara River flows from Lake Ontario to Lake Erie, spanning 36 miles, with Niagara Falls being part of the path. This river is possibly one of the most important rivers in America, where the water connecting Erie and Ontario also carry water from the other three Great Lakes, Superior, Huron, and Michigan, the largest freshwater system in the world. Let's take a break from this long journey and view some of the architecture from the New York border. The amazing Whirlpool Aero car. It's covered in a picturesque scene with autumn colors in the background. Thousands of years of history and natural development give Niagara Falls and Niagara River the reputation of world wonder. The County of Niagara, a county of wonder in New York State, and its county seat is the city of locks, Lockport, New York, home of the 5 locks of the Erie Canal. In this city, we find one of the most active sites of the canal's history. Niagara County is at the very edge of New York, facing the borders of Canada. It contains one of New York's breathtaking monuments, the waterfalls that became a 7th wonder of the world. But the county is a hidden gem full of adventure that is often overshadowed by its touristic natural wonders. In the Niagara County, we have the city of Lockport. Lockport gets its name from its connection to the Erie Canal. As we travel throughout New York, the canal's presence is in so many counties. To Lockport, the canal passes right through the center of the city. It's to help the canal barges traverse the 60-foot waterfalls from the Niagara Escarpment. The city of Lockport, a city that welcomes us with a view of canal boats making their way to locks 34 and 35 of the Erie Canal. Lockport and its flight of the 5 locks was a turning point for Buffalo, where it became easier to make the canal journey. We're lucky enough to glance how they manually opened the wicket gates to equalize the waters. Lockport was the first official city in the county of Niagara, where the locks of the Erie Canal helped overcome the different water levels of Lake Erie and the Genesee River. And we come across a buoy boat, similar to the ones we've encountered in Albany County. As we wait for the boats, we see visitors on the walking trail of the canal, and I experience the gushing and loud sounds of the water through the opening gates. Lockport, like many cities throughout the county, harnesses the power of the Niagara River to develop its surrounding manufacturing industry. Let's make our way to the Locks Museum by following the remains of the 5 locks. The Locks Museum gives us a brief moment of silence from the outside and fills our minds with so much history of the canal and the city. This museum is an old lock control, a remaining spillway of the former 5 locks. We see them here in this beautiful diorama. The 5 locks were decommissioned in favor of the 2 giant locks. And the walls give the tale of the canal's history in the city. A Francis turbine, an electric generator that produced electricity for the locks. Lockport's bronze statues of the lock tenders, a remembrance of the people who made the canal a success. The perfect place to create a postcard of the first pit stop in our adventure.
Could have been up there.
Hey, hey. Nothing there.
A lot of people come to Niagara to enjoy the wonderful vistas of the waterfalls, but there's a deeper history within Niagara, and here is Niagara's fort. Welcome to the edge of Niagara and the fort by Lake Ontario. The castle by the sea, built by New France to protect its interests in the New World. Fort Niagara is one of the oldest forts in American history, dating back to the 1600s. And from this viewpoint, Lake Ontario looks endless. Visitors are transported back in time to experience the original 18th century buildings and lifestyles. Native American, French, British, and Americans worked and lived at this site for centuries, so the inside of the buildings provide a variety of colonial history. I find myself taking the time to experience the deeper history of Niagara County and one of the New World's oldest establishments. Each room contains a different story to the history of the fort, where we encounter maps of the fort's blueprints. In the original treaty with the Seneca, the French were allowed to build as long as it wasn't a masonry building, so this became a trading post known as the House of Peace. Things are quieting down as we hear them load the barrels and prepare for the battle to come. And so begins the battle of the colonial rebels and the British, the soldiers of the Revolution. At this fort, the British fought the French for dominance of the New World. Rifles and musket balls fill the atmosphere as the chaos ensues in this spectacular presentation. The British defeated the French when British General Jean Prideaux took French Captain Pierre Pochat prisoner to Albany. A battle for supremacy, but in reality, a battle to take hold of the goods in the New World. As the soldiers move in, we see the casualties of war. And the Battle of Niagara contained over 300 deaths between the British and the French. This victory kickstarted a series of battles for the British forces throughout the New World territories. Niagara Falls is a phenomenon, a natural wonder of tourism, life, and technological development. The falls is a major contributor to the industrialization of America, putting New York on the map as it ushered in the word the Empire State. This is Jose for On Tour. If you like what you've seen today, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share. If you'd like to know more about the places I've been to, please see the links below. Until next time.